Pardon me while I have a strange interlude.
There is nothing else. Life is an obscure hobo bumming a ride on the omnibus of art.
Along the misty corridors of time, and in those corridors I see figures, strange figures.
Welcome back, my friends, to the AP Strange Show. I'm your host, AP Strange. This is my show, and today's show is brought to you by the ghost of Bob Ross. You might think that the joy of painting is only something that you can experience on the earthly plane, but that is just simply not so. The ghost of Bob Ross is here to show you that you can be drawing and painting happy little trees well into the afterlife and beyond. So go check out the Ghost of Bob Ross and get yourself some happy little trees to take into the great hereafter. And that's a suitable sponsor for tonight because my guest tonight, I'm very excited to do this show because when I booked to do the symposium down in Gettysburg, the Paranormal Symposium, I didn't know who else was going to be there. And when I looked at all the guests, one stood out to me in particular, and that is Randi Bergsma. And she is a witch, a tarot reader, a writer. She's been published in places like the Feminine Macabre. She was doing a presentation on Hilma Klint and channeled art, and listeners to the show know that I love the intersection of the paranormal and art. So unfortunately, her presentation was on right after mine. So in the excitement after I had finished, I kind of ran upstairs to my hotel room, ditched my computer, took my shoes off, and then looked at the schedule, and I was like, oh crap, and had to get everything back on and run back down. So coming to your ears all the way from Ontario, please welcome Randi Bergsma. Randi, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm glad to have you on the show tonight because, like I said, and I'm not just blowing smoke, that was a really exciting thing for me to read in the list of scheduled speakers was channeled art and Hilma F. Klint. So I even though I missed the beginning of your talk, I very much enjoyed when I got there.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So you have a background in art, right?
I do, yeah. Yeah, I'm an artist. My stepfather is actually an artist as well, so I kind of grew up around it. And my writing's kind of taken like it's kind of taken over more than the art stuff has. So I'm glad to work the channeled art in because it's been my way kind of like back into art. So it's been really good so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's really great. And so I can understand if you have an interest in the paranormal and art that the channeled art thing is a natural thing to follow. But what came first, the paranormal or the art for you?
Oh God, they both go back like so far. I couldn't even tell you. Like, I mean, I think I've been into spooky things like since I was born, probably. So like that probably came first, and then I just happened to be good at art. But yeah, like since I was a little kid, like anything spooky. Like loved the Alvin Schwartz books, the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark books, and like Goosebumps and like all of that when I was a kid.
Well, and both of those have pretty striking cover art.
Yeah, the artwork, yeah, is crazy. And the cover art on Goosebumps as well is nuts because those are all hand painted back in the day. Those are like actual paintings.
Yeah.
So yeah, both of those. It's funny you bring that up, actually. Yeah, because they both have like huge art components to them. But yeah, very into it.
Scary stories, especially because, I mean, man, those pictures gave me nightmares as a kid.
Yeah, well, I used to work at a library and it was always on the list of banned books, that book, because of just the illustrations were so scary. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'll never forget the girl with the spiders coming out of her face, like
Ugh, yes. Yes.
burned into my mind forever.
Yeah.
And did you see the movie that they made out of that?
I did, and the visual effects were actually so good. They captured the illustration so well, I thought.
Yeah, they really did. I mean, to the point where when when one of the illustrations appeared in the movie as a scene, I was like, "Oh no, I know what's going to happen. I remember this."
Yeah. Yeah, they were so
Well,
good.
yeah. So, did you have paranormal encounters in real life as a child, or was it more the fictional stuff?
It's so funny because I grew up in an old farmhouse, like kind of in the country, and it always had like a creepy vibe, but it's like we moved in before kindergarten and I was there till like I left for university. So it like you just are used to what you're used to and you don't really think about it that much. You're just like, oh, this is normal, and you just take it for granted. Um, and but I did always have like really creepy feelings in that house, and like that
Mm.
feeling like all of a sudden like someone's watching you, but like so strongly it would make you stop in your tracks and like look around. And it was like
Yeah.
I just kind of thought that was normal because when you're a kid you don't think about it. And
Hmm.
then, like years and years later, like just a few years ago, my mom and I were talking, and she was like, I think that house was haunted. And it's the first time she'd ever mentioned it. And I was like,
Wow.
what? Like, yeah, it absolutely was. Like, thinking back, it absolutely was. Because when I moved out, like, the apartments I got later and like places I lived after that never had that kind of feeling. And I
Mm.
think she had that experience as well of like selling the house and moving and being like, oh, this new house doesn't feel the same. Like it feels nice. Like,
Yeah. Do,
so yeah.
do you ever miss that feeling?
Uh, I don't miss it, but it's so
Yeah.
funny because it like becomes a part of you, I think, and like
Yeah.
kind of a part of your psyche. And you're always like waiting for it. You're always like,
Yeah.
when's it gonna happen again? Like,
Well, it's funny because on a recent episode, I described having the same experience in my house growing up. To
really?
Yeah, to the point where like I'd be self-conscious about getting undressed,
Yes.
as
Yeah.
though like there were people in the room, you know.
Yeah, it was so weird. Or you'd be like, you'd have like music on and you'd be like dancing a little, and then you'd be like, wait, wait, like
Right.
someone is looking at me right now. Like it'd be so bad. Like a
Yeah,
really
I think it
heavy presence.
yeah, I think it instilled a healthy amount of paranoia in me growing up.
Yes, honestly, yes.
Well, yeah, that's wild. And this was kind of a rural area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was funny because my parents are gardeners, and so they spend a lot of time like making gardens on the property and like digging out like new gardens, and they would always uncover like old bottles, old like razors, old like it had been like kind of like a dumping area where people had like put stuff 100 years ago. And so
Hmm.
every time they would dig in the ground, it would be like pieces of broken pottery and stuff. It was really weird, like just a really weird property.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine it had been settled for a long time. Or like, how old was the house? Do you know?
I think it was like 100 years old when we moved in. So
Okay.
yeah.
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 Yeah. Um, yeah, that's wild. And digging up artifacts from the ground. I mean, that has like a spooky vibe too. Yeah.
Yeah, and like my
Yeah.
parents would bring them into the house and they would like stay in the house on like a shelf, and you're like now looking back, I'm like, they probably should have just left them like
Right.
outside. Like I don't know if that was a good idea. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The house I grew up in was built in 1779. So occasionally you'd find
Uh,
really weird stuff.
right.
Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah. Um, okay. Well, so I mean, in your bio for your Instagram, and it says that you're a witch and tarot reader as well. When did that strand of your personality enter your life? Did you feel like you were always kind of witchy, or uh,
Um, I definitely was always into witches and Halloween, like even as a really little kid. But I think there's like a certain generation of women that like saw the movie The Craft at a sleepover and like was just like, witches are real. Like that's, I can be a witch. Like,
Hmm.
and I'm definitely of that like generation. So I vividly remember watching that movie and then just being like, wait, like, are
Yeah.
witches real? Like, and then like I know like Willow on Buffy the Vampire Slayer was like a big deal. And then like you were like, what's Wicca? And then you would like go and try to find books on it.
Hmm.
So that's how I came into that. And then tarot reading, I literally got a tarot deck as a gift for my 13th birthday, which is like
Ooh.
the most perfect time to get a tarot
Yeah.
deck. So yeah, and then I've been reading tarot like same deck even ever since then. So like that deck is like really like bonded to me and like I feel
Mm.
like it has very strong vibes. But
Was
yeah.
it the Rider Waite Smith deck?
No, it's actually it's the Zerner Faber deck. It's called the
Hmm.
Enchanted Tarot.
Oh, okay.
It's really cool. It's like textile, like mixed textile pieces and it's just really pretty. But
Huh.
yeah.
I think I've heard of it, but I don't know that I've ever gotten a reading with that before. But it sounds familiar. The Enchanted Tarot. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
But
really cool.
what was it harder to access? How available was like magical literature and stuff in bookstores where you were?
Oh,
Was
like
it hard to find?
yeah, like no, it wasn't accessible at all. No.
Yeah.
It would be like driving to like Hamilton, Ontario would be the closest city. And
Mm.
you'd go to like Lime Ridge Mall was the mall. And there was one bookstore and there was like one shelf in the bookstore. And it was like Silver Raven Wolf books and like a couple tarot decks and maybe a Scott Cunningham book. And like the rest was just like Sylvia Brown books. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like Scott Cunningham. I still kind of like him.
Yeah.
I flipped through some of the old books recently, and I'm like, I like this guy. I just like him.
Yeah, his writing is like such an interesting like he's got such a like nice writing voice.
Mhm.
Um I saw a clip of him from like it was him and Raymond Buckland and like maybe a couple other people, but they were on like a talk show like Sally Jesse Raphael from like
Mhm.
it was the early 90s and he was like kind of fierce, like he was kind of like harsh and opinionated in a way that I was like, oh my God, that's so different from your writing voice. Like it was so
Yeah.
interesting to see.
Huh. I know there's a biography on him out now, and I'd like to. I think it was written by a family member.
Yeah.
I- yeah, I need to check that out at some point because I'm interested in knowing more about the man because I read those books when I was, I don't know, 14, 15, somewhere around that age, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it
It's
kind
on
of
my
opened my eyes to it. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's all great stuff. So yeah, the only reason I asked about the area too is because with the gardening and with like a more rural environment, it just seems like a very nature-based place. Like you're surrounded by some kind of nature that lends itself well to witchy stuff.
Yes. Like a lot of like and like a lot of downtime because there was nothing going on and like
Yeah,
I had parents that worked full time so no one was like driving me around to things, you know? So
yeah.
it was like tons of time alone, tons of like wandering around in fields and stuff. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think that really like encouraged the like witchcraft elements.
Cool, cool. So, in regard to your presentation, uh, how was it that you came upon the work of Hilma af Klint? I wasn't familiar with her at all until she's had like this more recent renaissance, and I don't know if that's true for most people. I would assume so. I didn't really know her that
Yeah.
well, but yeah. Um,
Um, yeah, I think that's true for most people. Like her work wasn't really even exhibited until the 1980s. I know she actually tried like towards the end of her life to exhibit her own paintings with like the spiritualist ones, the ones that were channeled. She tried a few times to like display them publicly, and I don't think it worked out very well for her.
Mhm.
But yeah, they weren't really seen till the 1980s. And then I think I found out about her like everybody else did, like in 2018 with the Guggenheim exhibit.
Mhm.
Um, and then I think I remember just reading about like there were so many articles written about like art history is changing, and
Yeah.
like all that kind of stuff. And I was like, what is that about? Like changing how? And like it was a woman who was changing it, so it was like super interesting.
Mhm.
And then I started like reading up on her and like looking at her work, and read the Julia Voss biography, which is like amazing. Julia Voss spent like, I think she spent 10 years writing it, and she had to learn Swedish to be able to do it. Like she,
Yeah.
because nothing had been translated yet. Um, but I can't, I would love for them to translate like, there's like so many notebooks of like channeled messages and channeled drawings, and like they did it with Frida Kahlo's diary. They translated it all from Spanish to English, and kind of like there's copies you can get that are like translated versions with all her drawings and stuff in them. And I would love it if they could do that with Hilma af Klint's notebooks. Like I would,
Yeah.
that would be like amazing.
Because I
Um,
guess she left it all to her nephew, right? And
yes.
the kind of legend, I guess, I don't know how much this is true, is that she didn't want the work exhibited until like 20 years after she passed. Yeah.
Yeah. And
But
it's,
but but as you said, she did try to exhibit some of it at least.
she
Yeah.
did some of it.
Yeah.
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 It was mostly in like theosophist circles, and like amongst people who would be sort of like inclined to take that kind of work seriously. But even there, she didn't have a ton of success. Um,
Hmm.
but she was just so certain that her work would have meaning one day. So I think towards the end of her life, she was like, I don't know, try it in like 20 years and see what people think. Cause like she
Yeah.
tried so hard during her life. Um, but she has so much in common with Frida Kahlo actually, because like when Frida Kahlo died, she asked that her bathroom be locked up for like 40 years. And so
Okay.
like yeah, her bathroom had like if you know Frida Kahlo, like she's known for her clothing, her like makeup. She had a prosthetic leg like towards the end of her life. Like all the stuff that's like sort of like a lot of her jewelry, like quintessentially her, was in that bathroom, including a lot of love letters. Um,
Huh.
and it stayed locked for 40 years. Like they only recently opened it, like I think in the last maybe 10 years, 15 years. Um,
Yeah.
but and Frida Kahlo was queer as well. So
Hmm.
like there's so many weird like overlaps there that I think are so interesting.
Well,
Um,
that too, that, and she was kind of overshadowed by men in her time, especially like her
yeah,
husband, where Hilma af Klint didn't get the credit she deserved because, Vasily Kandinsky got it instead,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Even just like yeah, that whole movement, like the abstract art movement coming like straight out of spiritualism, and then like so quickly it was like denied completely, and it was
Mm.
just like as though it sprung from like the minds of these men like out of nowhere. um
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah. The way I understood it was, well, Rudolf Steiner plays a part in this because he's kind of like a later theosophist. He had his own version of theosophy. I guess anthroposophy. It's a mouthful.
Yeah.
But he had taken photos of her work, and then some people think that Kandinsky may have seen the photos and then
Yeah.
got the ideas from that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's like a whole legend about it. And it also like the legend says that Rudolf Steiner saw her work and was like incredibly judgmental about it, and was
Yeah.
like how dare you think that you're the vessel for like these channeled messages to come through. And I don't know, like Julia Voss, when she was researching the biography, didn't find any like record of that. She found that they had met and they had spoke, but like nothing to indicate there was any kind of falling out. And
Hmm.
and Hilma af Klint followed him like in his work for the rest of her life. So I don't know. But he
Yeah.
could very well have taken photos or had sketches in his notebook that Vasily Kandinsky saw later. So it's super interesting.
It is interesting. I mean, the preponderance of evidence for me, just the timeline, the fact that he had them, he knew Kandinsky, and Kandinsky had similar ideas later, just kind
Yeah,
of seems suspicious to me. But
yeah, for sure.
because I mean, my background as far as art goes, my main thing is surrealism. That's like my go-to for art, and I see kind of a lot of similarities there. And I feel bad bringing it up, but like Marcel Duchamp's uh,
Yeah.
fountain, uh, the famous like urinal that was just
Yeah.
called the fountain. That was actually a woman's idea. Her
Was
name's not
it?
coming to me right now. She was the one that came up with that. He just signed his name on it, but he gets
Uh,
credit for that, you know. So
Interesting. That's like I love Leonora Carrington because she was
yeah,
yeah, she was also into like she was kind of witchy and into like spiritual stuff and spiritualism. She's like one of my faves.
I think she was actually a member of the Golden Dawn too.
Was she? Yeah.
Her and
Interesting.
Ethel Calhoun, yeah, and they were both more on the surrealist bent. So yeah, yeah. Um, but you know, in my talk, I mentioned that I brought up art because one of the monster hunters that I was talking about was a surrealist artist, and I was talking about
Okay.
how, yeah, like surrealism in itself is kind of a mystical thing. Like people think of it as an art form, but what they were talking about was super realism. They were talking about the reality that's greater than our physical phenomenal reality that
Right.
encompasses it, and that what meaning exists beyond that. So I have to admit, I never really understood abstract art, but I guess it's kind of doing the same or a similar thing from a spiritual angle, at least as far as Klint's concerned, right?
Yeah, it is. It's so interesting because like for a solid like from like the 1920s through literally the Guggenheim exhibit, no one wanted to talk about like the spiritual side of any of the artwork. And it was so interesting. Like even remember learning about it in like high school, and like the explanation was just like there's no meaning behind it. Like
Yeah,
period. Like it's
yeah,
just shapes. Like but yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that it like came out of somewhere. Um
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's interesting the theosophy connection because I know that Annie Besant and C.W. Leadbeater were doing similar things with like colors and shapes and what they call thought forms. Um,
Right.
but that would be around the same time. I imagine abstract was already kind of off and running by that point, but early 20th century. So um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all interesting stuff. So the spirits she was in contact with, she was kind of calling them masters, like the masters.
Yeah, she called them the high ones. And the way it's explained, at least in the biography, is that they were sort of like saints or
Hmm.
um like they themselves weren't gods, but they were like the intermediaries of gods. Um,
Hmm.
and then it was never explained like, so who are the gods then? Like who are the people above you? And like that information was never given over. So it was almost like they were these like saint-like beings that could affect change in their lives if they like followed the things they said.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but I would love to know
Yeah,
who they thought was talking, like who they thought the messages were coming from, because I don't think they ever even got that far. Like, I don't think.
yeah. I mean, you see various different versions of this, like from spiritualism and theosophy, and on down to like UFO cults and the early contactees. Um, all different kinds of ways of channeling something, and it's not not really clear what it was, but
Yeah,
uh, yeah, yeah. And her methodology seemed, and she didn't do this alone, right? She was doing seances in groups.
yeah, seances in groups, and then she would sometimes break off with like a partner. And then when she was actually painting the paintings, I think she was alone in the studio. And I still don't get how she did it because she said like they were painted through her and not from
Mhm.
her. And like I know what it's like to sit there and try to like I tried it with my own like channeling to
Yeah.
try to draw something, and then like it just doesn't work. It like takes you out of that like trance-like state. Like I imagine like picking up a brush and like putting paint on the brush would be really hard to do while you were like channeling something.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know quite how she did that. Like I know how they did the sketches in the notebooks with like pen or like I think they preferred pencil actually. And then like on automatic writing and planchettes and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
yeah, no idea how. Like I would love to know what it looked like while she was painting.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it just sounds like her hand was being guided, you know?
Yeah,
So maybe it was like a diversionary thing to put more paint on, and then when she got close to the canvas, she just kind of let it guide her hand or whatever, you know.
yeah,
But you see this like this is something I'm kind of obsessed with. So I totally understand your fascination with the with her and with the methods. Is that I've been down this road when it comes to like music and literature, because writing can be that way too. You know, I've written about writers that were kind of channeling their poetry or their prose, and
yeah,
sometimes you got to wonder like where music comes from, especially in terms of like improvisation. Sometimes it's just inspired, and it seems like there's some force working through you, or that
yeah,
that work of art already existed somewhere in another realm, and you're just a conduit to bring it into a material reality. You know?
yeah. I find that with writing a lot actually, that you get into that sort of flow state and you like it just kind of comes out of you like all at once and you're like, where did that even come from? Like I don't even
Yeah.
know. Yeah. Or like I know like Elizabeth Gilbert in I'm trying to think one of her books talks about artists who like find that ideas come to them. Like I know she writes about like a poet who like felt like these poems would come across the landscape like weather, and she would
Hmm.
have to like catch them before it like passed her by, which I think is so interesting. Um,
Yeah.
or even
Yeah.
like, there's years where like two movies that are about the exact same thing come out, and you're
Right.
like, how? How did that happen? Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like there's sometimes it's just in the moment, and it's in the ether rather, and there's a moment where a couple people will grasp onto the same thing. Yeah, that's super interesting. The
Yeah.
example I like to bring up sometimes is like the Rolling Stones song "Can't Get No Satisfaction." Apparently, like Keith Richards woke up in the middle of the night, played that riff, and recorded it, and then went back to sleep. I had no memory of doing that, but that's like one of the all-time great rock and roll riffs. But it just came out of
Oh
the
my
ether.
God. Yeah. Or like I think I read Dolly Parton was going back through her old cassette tapes, and like Jolene and like some other like great song. I think it was Jolene and I Will Always Love You were on the same cassette tape. Like
Wow.
it just came at the same time and you're like, how? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sometimes people are just on a roll, I guess, you know?
yeah.
So that was a super interesting. Well, I mean, your whole presentation of this subject was really interesting, but uh, I found it interesting that you kind of recreated the methods that Hilma F. Klint used, and you had like steps for doing your own seance, but you were showing slides also of your own drawings that you generated automatically, and some of them kind of lined up with hers, right?
Yeah, some of them when I do my own channeling sessions, they often have that kind of like spiral botanical like plant like kind of imagery that a lot of hers have as well. And I
Mhm.
wonder, like, I would love to do like a deep dive into like different sets of like channeled notebooks and just see like if there's overlap, because I feel like that is just naturally kind of what your hand's doing as you're getting into like a trance state. And like
Mhm.
almost like that's what happens when you're waiting for someone to like come in and take over.
Huh.
Um, yeah, it's really interesting. But
That is really interesting. I mean, I guess if you're just letting your hand draw like a continuous line, it's gonna wander a little and kind of look like a vine or a stem or a branch. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
Um,
And then sometimes you can really feel it like pushing in certain directions, and that's when it gets like kind of weird and creepy. And like when I do it, I almost don't look. Like I really try to keep my eyes closed because it feels like there's someone there and like you're not supposed to see them. Like, and I'm
right.
sure like, and like opening your eyes kind of takes you out of it as well. And it's almost
Mhm.
like I don't want to see what I'm drawing. Like if it is somebody else and they're doing it, like let them do it. Like, but
Yeah. Yeah. You almost don't want to interrupt. Yeah.
yeah, like you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm here. Like, yeah.
Right. Well, and being a Canadian, I guess you have to apologize to the ghost for
Yeah,
interrupting.
yeah, that's very true. I'm very apologetic.
um, but well, I mean, maybe that's what it is with her as far as the painting goes, is with enough practice and doing it for a long time, eventually it gets to this point where it's second nature and you just trust that energy and can go with it for something bigger. Because
Yeah,
I guess she didn't sketch things out beforehand. It's not like she's channeled the sketch and then painted over it. It was she was channeling
yeah,
the painting. Yeah.
yeah. It's wild. I would love to do like I think I would have to do it with my hands. Like I can't imagine doing it with a brush, but I'd love to get a canvas and do like with acrylic paints or watercolor or something and like try to channel like paint would be
Mhm.
like I don't know. That's going to be my next step, I think maybe.
Yeah, maybe you just have to jump in, just dive in and do it.
That is half of it. Like you literally are just have to be like, I don't know, let's try. Like and then like
Yeah.
you see if anything happens. Yeah.
I feel like I've personally gotten the best results when I've gone in with a light heart and no expectations, just
Yeah.
like, ah, the hell with it. Let's try this.
Yeah, and I think like so many people don't get results because they want it so badly and they're trying so hard and you're like no, like you have to like not care. Like for some reason
Yeah.
that's like an integral part of it is the being like I don't know, like let's see.
Yeah. The curiosity being like kind of indifferent to the outcome, I guess. Or,
Yeah.
um, or just doing it as a lark, like just see what happens when you try it. I guess it's trying without trying. That's the tricky part.
Yeah, it really is the hard part. Yeah, of like not putting pressure on yourself or like anything and just like yeah, letting it happen or not happen. Like yeah, that's the tough
Yeah.
thing.
So for your own practice of the channelings, I have the handout that you handed out during your talk, but the seance steps. Now, as far as seance, a lot of people think of people sitting around a table holding hands, but
Mhm.
this can be done either in a group or by yourself, right? The way that you do
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
And I think honestly, it might be easier to do by yourself if you're like
right.
trying it for the first time. Just
Yeah.
because like you don't have to be self-conscious, like you're not around a bunch of other people, like and you can like take your time with it. And like if you're someone who meditates, it's almost like meditating to get into it. So I feel like doing it by yourself might be easier.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you developed the seance steps based on the way Hilma F. Klint did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the biography is very specific about like the steps the five took. The five was the spiritualist group Hilma Clint was a part of.
Mhm.
Um, and like their regular meetings and their spiritualist practice looked like a lot of others at the time, like kind of that like weekly seance circle. Um, but then she would also, like I said, separate with like one other person and try to get channeled messages as well. And I was like, well, if it worked for her both ways, like I'm sure it'll work. So I just kind of like wrote down the steps and was like, how can I recreate this for myself where I am? And
Mhm.
like kind of made it as easy as possible for myself and just tried it out just to see if anything happened. And I immediately felt like I didn't get amazing results or anything, but you immediately felt like a presence in the room, like something shifted, like it felt different, like it almost felt like haunted house vibes. Like it was
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. And I was like, uh-oh. Like,
Felt like childhood again. Yeah.
yeah. Like, I was like, oh, that's spooky. And then like as you keep going, you get better and better at like handling that. And like I think you get like your hand gets looser and your like mind gets a little like quieter and you get to interact more with things.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, Now, for your own experiments with this, do you have an idea of, well, two questions, I guess. Do you have an idea of what spiritual force is guiding your hand in this, and do you have an idea of what drawing the drawings represent, or what the meaning behind it is?
So it really depends, like sort of seance to seance. Sometimes it's just like I have no idea what it is or who it is, but there's something there. And then sometimes it feels more specific, like your grip on the pen gets very specific, like it changes, and like where, like how high up or close to the paper you hold the pen. And then like sometimes it really feels like something takes over and it starts to draw. And like in my own art practice, I draw a lot of faces, like I like portrait art. And I find that I don't know if it's like weird spirits can like sense that I can do that, or like that's what I prefer to draw. Cause like
Hmm.
something will come in and it'll become like a face. Like
Okay.
that's what ends up being on the paper. Um yeah, it's really odd too because like I'm not looking at it, like my eyes are kind of closed.
Mm.
Like I might open them if like the pen goes off the page or something, but and then like you look at it after and you're like, oh, that does look like a face, and you sort of know that you're drawing a face, but you're like I'm trying so hard to resist like moving the pen at all, or
Yeah, yeah,
like interpreting the movement, or like finishing a line or something. Like I'm trying
yeah.
so hard to like not have anything to do with it. um
Huh.
yeah, it's really interesting.
Hmm. Well, I just realized something. You might have said this during your talk, but it makes sense that they always used pencil back then, because I guess the dipping of a fountain pen would be the
Yeah,
same thing as like going for more paint. So yeah.
yeah,
Um, huh. Yeah.
yeah. And it is really annoying too, like because I've had pens die on me while I'm doing it, and it sucks. It just like ruins everything. You're like, oh, this is why they use pencil.
Yeah. See, I like charcoal. That's one thing I got into drawing wise that I feel like I'm actually okay at. So it's like,
That would be really cool to like. I should get some charcoal and try. That's such a good idea, actually. Like because it would smudge
because
with your hand and stuff too, and like
yeah, you were talking about
yeah,
using your hands, and that's all
yeah,
that is smudging and shading, and yeah,
yeah. That'd be really cool. You should
yeah.
try it. Have you ever tried channeling or doing anything like that?
Not intentionally. I mean, I have poems that I'm pretty sure were channeled on some level. I've done automatic writing. I used to do, well, I mean, and this is why I was comparing spiritualism to surrealism, because the surrealists used a lot of the same methods. Like automatic writing and automatism in general were ways of just generating surrealist ideas. Um, which is not to say that they didn't necessarily find something mystical about it, you know. so,
Right.
so so you had that overlap, but I don't think they lingered on the mystical. They entertained multiple realities at the same time. um, and uh, so when I used to write poetry, sometimes I would just do automatic writing and then pick little phrases out of it and use those as a prompt or something like that, because I wouldn't use the automatic writing itself as a piece that I wanted to share, because it was usually just gobbledygook, you know. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, but another time, I woke up from a nap in the middle of the day. I worked nights at the time, so I was always trying to sleep like late morning or mid afternoon,
Yeah.
um, and I woke up with a poem pretty much fully formed in my head. Um, and I had to like run and find something to write it down on. And I had like a piece of junk mail. I like scrawled it on the back of an envelope that was just sitting there. So I still have that, but that felt like it was channeled. Um, and I don't necessarily know what it means, but years later, after digging into like theosophy and reading Madame Blavatsky's writings, I'm like, man, this looks like it could have been something that Blavatsky would have, included in one of her things. It seems
Probably.
theosophical. It's like very strange. Yeah. Um, but yeah, so I mean, I guess I have in a way tried a bit of channeling in my own way, but more with writing than anything else. Yeah.
Yeah. It is all kind of channeling anyway. Like you were saying, like writing, art, music, like all of that feels like it's so close to channeling anyway.
Yeah.
Like even if you don't have
Well,
like a spiritual bone in your body,
yeah,
like
with music, I mean, I don't play music anymore, mostly because what I liked to do was play lead guitar and improvise. And I really liked when the whole band would improvise and we could just jam, you know?
mhm.
Um, and sometimes when you did that, you got to this point where you were so synced up, but you're making it up as you go along that it sounded well rehearsed. It sounded like everybody meant to do that and had practiced it that way. And you're
Mhm.
like, but how is that possibly? It's like you feel like there's telepathic contact at least.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
yeah. And then sometimes I'd listen to a recording. I'd blink out while I was playing, so I wasn't cognizant of it at the time. But then I'd listen to the recording. I'm like, I did that. Wow.
But that's like sometimes like I'll write something, like even nonfiction, like it's not even fiction, but I'll read it back and be like, oh, that's so good. Like that's way better than what I thought I wrote. Like I don't think that came from me.
Well, that's why the best writers like write all the time. Because if you get, it's easier to fall back into that flow state. And
Yeah.
like one of my favorite writers is Ray Bradbury, and
Mhm.
I read his book on writing, and sorry to say, didn't find it very helpful.
Yeah.
Because Bradbury is the kind of guy that's like, it's a joy and a privilege to write. Every day I wake up and I run to my typewriter before I do anything else and start writing. And it's just like, okay,
Yeah.
Ray, but I have to go to work.
Yeah. Can't relate. Sorry.
I'd love for that to be my life, but I have to go do stuff I don't want to do, and then maybe
Yeah.
later I can write. So, but I'm sure I could force myself. But I know what you mean. It's like, and I think that's what the best writers are always trying to say is like dedicate every spare moment of your time to writing something,
Yeah.
and do a little bit of it every day because then it's easier. And then, like you say, um, you sweat over it while you're writing it, and then later maybe somebody shares your something you wrote and they pull a quote from it, and you're like, wow, that's good. Oh wait, I wrote that. Oh, not
Yeah.
wow.
Uh,
Was that me? Did I write that? So yeah, it's
yeah.
good. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to see that. Yeah, I can tell you have an appreciation for the written word for this stuff too, and that's an art form in itself. And I think we need more people that in the paranormal that can write really well, take that part of it seriously.
I
Yeah,
try. Yeah, that's like the part I take seriously. I should take other stuff seriously too, but like that tends to be what I focus on. Like my goal for like next year is I really want to submit a book proposal. And I'd love to get it published by Llewellyn because like those are all the books I bought when I was like 13. So like
yeah,
it mean a lot to me, but yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, it could happen. You can manifest it. Oh,
Yeah, working on it.
oh.
I think it's a good idea anyway. It's gonna be about like witchcraft and spiritualism if I write anything. So yeah.
That would be a really interesting topic because spiritualism, I don't think, is well understood by a lot of people. Generally, I feel like a lot of people have the concept in their head that it was all phony and all fake, and there was no real spiritual aspect. It was a lot of grifters, and certainly there was some of that going on, but it was considered and is still considered by the people who practice it to be a legitimate religion.
Yeah. And it's so hard because it really feels like it's dying out. Like if you go to Lilydale, like most of the mediums there are like 65 plus. Like
Yeah,
it's just like an older audience, and it's like the witchy people who are like younger who would be the ones that could like take it up and like make it relevant again and like kind of give
hmm.
it a bit of a reformation. Um
Yeah,
but there's like spiritualists don't really like witches. Like, because
Yeah, I mean that's the funny thing. Like to your
yeah,
point, in Shannon Taggart's book Seance, it's
yeah,
like you look at the people in the pictures and you're like, oh, is it? I mean, they're not all old, but you can tell that they've been at it for a while. But the people in the photos at Lilydale, you're just like, well, this is all. I don't see a lot of young people in there.
yeah, yeah,
But
it's
also,
definitely bad.
yeah, and also to your point, Chris, spiritualism is ostensibly a Christian thing,
Mhm.
so I can't imagine they're too accepting of like Wiccans or occultists, But
Yeah, and they very much view it as like a scientific pursuit. Like they
yeah,
kind of consider what they're doing science. And so when you try to bring like anything like ritualistic or like occult into it, they like don't like it. They feel like it discredits their work. Um,
hmm,
but like Lilydale has tarot cards in the gift shop. Like I've seen
yeah.
them. Like,
I've
like
never
there's
been.
elements in there. Like
Yeah,
yeah.
I got to go there someday. Closer to me, there's the Lake Pleasant spiritualist camp.
Oh, cool. I've never
Um,
heard of that.
Nobody has. It's like they had a schism at some point in the late 19th century where there were some spiritualists that went to this Massachusetts camp and the other ones went to Lilydale. And
Oh,
I
okay.
think I think it was a minor distinction about whether or not reincarnation was possible.
Mm,
So yeah, so I think the ones in Massachusetts believed you could reincarnate, but you could also be a spirit, um, like an either or sort of thing. And the Lilydale people thought that there was no reincarnation because it wasn't in the Bible or something like that. So
yeah. Interesting.
um,
Is it still there? Like, are there still mediums there, or is it like a
as far
historical?
as I know, yeah, they're still there, but I haven't checked on it in a while. But they're very closed off. Like they don't let people in.
Oh, okay.
They have psychic fairs once in a while, so like I guess you can go to those. But I've been meaning to. I haven't got around to it, but I want to touch base and see if I can get in there and just like see what's going on and check it out. But they're very
Yeah,
cautious because I think they're very private. They don't want people intruding on it or making fun of them or whatever, you know.
yeah.
So, um, but yeah, it's somewhere. It's in like Montague, Massachusetts, which is kind of the middle of nowhere.
Well,
So
I'm gonna go there now. That's
yeah,
Casadega in Florida is also on my list. They have like a
yeah,
spiritual community there. Yeah, I'd like to go there.
yeah. I think Shannon Taggart took photos there as well, right? In her book, the Casadega one.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. I know Jamie Loftus has a podcast. I think it's called Ghost Church. And she went
Huh.
down there and did like a full podcast on it, which is
Oh,
really
yeah. I remember when that came out, but I never listened to it. But I had heard about it at the time. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah. I have Taggart's book around here somewhere, so I think I remember seeing some photos of it.
Yeah, it
But
could be. I know she went to what's the other place? It's in England, I think. Um
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. There was and I guess like American spiritualists really don't like the English guy. There was some kind of conflict, like where they were mad at her for going over there because they think he makes them look bad or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
should maybe not be talking about this if I don't remember it properly because
I'm trying to remember too. I know I have the book as well. It's like one of my favorite books, but I haven't read it in a minute.
I get nervous reading that one because there's such beautiful photos, and I'm always
Yeah.
worried that like the oils on my fingers are gonna leave prints on it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to like touch it. It's like a valuable comic book or something. I feel like I should
Well,
wear gloves wearing reading
yeah,
it.
actually, I heard her say, I think it was another podcast she was on. She said that it's almost out of print. Like it went through a first edition and a second edition, and soon it's going to be out of print. And I was
Yeah,
like, oh no, protect it with my life. Like,
I know, and I have a signed edition too, so that's why like I want to keep it
right.
extra good.
Mhm.
Because I just barely missed her doing a presentation in Salem uh, at the Peabody Essex Museum because they had uh, um, a big exhibit on spiritualists.
I
So
remember
that
that. I really wanted to go to that and I didn't make it. But yeah, it looked so good.
I made it to the exhibit, but she had been there presenting like a week before, and like if I had been there a week before, I would have been able to see it. But
Mm,
maybe less than a week. I think it might have been like in the middle of the week or something. But um, they had her book in the gift shop, and they had signed editions there. So I was like, yoink! I'll take one of those.
yeah. Yeah. I went to her symposium in Lilydale last summer.
Hmm.
Um, and it's fantastic. Like I really want to go again next year. Um,
Mm,
but really great speakers on like all kinds of weird subjects.
yeah. Well, normally I'd feel like that's too far for me to travel, but I just got back from Gettysburg, so maybe next year I'll do that.
Yeah. I know it's so hard being in Canada because like there's not that much like going on up here.
Yeah.
Um, unless someone wants to correct me. Like they can like
Yeah.
me. I'd love to know. But yeah, I feel
Well,
like I'm
you need to start a Hamilton
yeah, I know.
paranormal conference. Yeah.
That'd be the dream. But then like
Yeah.
no one from the States would come up. You wouldn't come up.
Yeah, I'd need to get a passport.
Yeah.
Um, and then I don't know if they'd let me back in the country with today's political climate. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough that cross-border like friendship stuff.
yeah. The last time I went to Canada, showing my age, I was a kid and you didn't need a passport back then.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I went to Niagara Falls and back. So um yeah. But I mean it would be cool. I mean, I think that's just kind of it is for a lot of us, we kind of if you don't have something going on, maybe start something. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. But but yeah, Lilydale might be something to shoot for. But uh so So yeah, what do you think that would look like? Do you think it would be worthwhile to just start a new thing in order to do like a witchy kind of spiritualism? Or do you think that um do you think they could be talked into some witchy ideas?
I don't think the old school spiritualists would be into it. I really don't.
Right.
But I think there's like, you know how like Wicca and like Gardnerian like traditions, they were very like you had to be like initiated into them and they were very closed practices. And then eventually like all different kinds of witchcraft practices became just like eclectic and like everyone could access them and you could be a solitary witch. And I would like to see that with spiritualism. I'd love to see like a melding of like modern witchcraft and spiritualism and like
Hmm.
kind of like a yeah, a new path that's like a blend of both would be really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Um I mean, I think there is some of that in Wicca, but you're doing kind of like invocations, right? And
Mm.
or maybe talking to nature spirits, but something more productive in the way that spiritualism is, where with channeled materials as a result is a pretty great idea. It's a book I would read if you do write it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so excited about it. It's just maintaining the excitement through the whole process.
Oh, I hear you. I go in fits and starts. I'm going back and forth on the idea of writing a book, and I get excited and I write something, and then I'm like, oh no, this is a dumb idea. I'm gonna stop.
Um, what do you like? Do you know what it's going to be about? Like,
Yeah. Well, no, I have like three or four book ideas. I never have
okay.
just one idea. Even this podcast was three or four ideas that got rolled into one thing. But
Yeah.
um but yeah, no, I have one that I'm actively working on. But it is hard to keep the enthusiasm going, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
especially when you get busy with life and summertime gets busy for me personally. So yeah.
Hmm.
Um, but um as far as writing goes, I understand you've started a Substack, and that's exciting news. You're launching that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I've been like kind of working on it for a while and like saying I want to work on these articles for a while and having ideas for things. And then like, yeah, it's so hard to make time for it. I find it's really hard. Like if I don't have a deadline, stuff doesn't get done. And
Hmm.
I was like, oh, like a Substack's like a self-imposed deadline kind of.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna aim for like one article a month, and then like one kind of like video thing or like channeling session or like something like that, something like kind of spookier. um
Hmm.
and then the
Yeah,
article,
maybe you could do a tarot reading for your subscribers too. Yeah.
yeah, something like that would be cool too. But yeah, it's so hard to do with like a full-time job and like to work it into the schedule and stuff. But yeah, I'm excited about it. The first article is going to be about Anna Nicole Smith and like the dumb blonde archetype and Aphrodite the goddess. So
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. Hopefully other
Yeah.
people.
Well, at the time of this recording, it's not out yet, so I haven't read it. But when I saw the headline, like your promotion for it, I was like, oh man, I got to read that. Like that sounds
Yeah,
really cool. Yeah.
I've mentioned it to a couple of people and like watched their eyes light up, and I was like, oh, this is what the world needs.
Yeah. Well, Aphrodite is a really interesting deity too, because
Mhm.
she's not just the goddess of love. There's a lot going on there. So yeah.
Yeah, and like a lot of like is it like if you're sort of kissed by Aphrodite, if you're sort of like given that gift, like is it a gift or is it like kind of a curse? And like can
Yeah.
you feel it? Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty wild, and it's. I'm all about having pop culture representations of metaphysical ideas, whether or not it's intended that way. I feel like
Mhm.
um, that's something that's bound to happen anyway, because it's all wrapped up within this whole creative endeavor that can't help but express the ineffable.
Yeah. Yeah. And those like it's just such a like archetype. Like it's so hard to like avoid an archetype, you know?
Yeah, yeah, to the point where you have somebody like Jane Mansfield is like
Mhm.
a fun example of that, because she was actually brilliant. She was super smart and like a
Yeah.
virtuoso musician and all this other stuff. But she played up the dumb blonde archetype in her public appearances because that's what sold, you know?
Yeah. And Marilyn Monroe as well, like read a ton of books, was like super smart. And yeah, same. And then they all like Anna Nicole Smith as well, like they all died before they were 40. So
Yeah.
and then you're like, what is that about? Like why are they like all dying so young? And then like you haven't really seen like the second act of a dumb blonde, like quote unquote, until like Pamela Anderson maybe is the first one that's like she's like the role model for like how like what that can become in later life and like sort of the
Yeah.
of like the crone aspect of like the dumb blonde archetype, which I think is so interesting.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't even think of that with like the maiden mother crone as applied to Aphrodite, but yeah, that's actually a really interesting way to look at it.
Yeah. I'm like unpacking it right now. It's not honestly right now the article is not even finished. I'm like looking at it and like trying to like make it like structured. Like it makes sense to me, but I'm like, can I structure this better so it like hits the reader like, you know, in a more like precise way. Like, but
Yeah. Well, I don't know. There's a certain charm in leaving things open ended. I feel like maybe I do that too much and it's kind of a cop out, but I'm just like,
yeah. Well, it's also like I'm not a scientist. Like I'm just
right.
saying stuff. Like I don't know.
Well, I've come to realize recently, especially after seeing some really well done presentations that had a start and end point, I'm like, I'm still kind of a poet at heart. I'm just like, what I'm doing here is being a little bit poetic and leaving it open to interpretation, which it's not necessary. That's not what a scientist would do.
Yeah. Well, that's nice though. Like that's such a fun experience.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the world needs artists and it needs tricksters and it needs poets, and um, I'm happy to fulfill that function for whatever it's worth. So, um, but I mean, I'm certainly glad you are too. And like I said, reading the program, I'm like, oh man, like channeling art and talking about Hilma af Klint is absolutely something I need to see. At the it was like number one on my list of ones that I was looking forward to
Oh,
watching.
that's
So.
nice. I need to get better at doing like that was like my first full length presentation I've ever done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it's one of those things that like it's so scary to do, but it's like I get significantly like better at it each time I try it. So I'm like,
Hmm.
I gotta keep going with this, even though it's like so uncomfortable.
Well, you absolutely should, because I thought, I mean, I could maybe detect a little bit of nervousness, but I didn't. You didn't seem unprofessional. It didn't seem like um, didn't seem like you were having a hard time to me. It just seemed.
Oh, good. Fantastic. That's the feedback I needed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was well ordered, and you had really good slides, and it was really interesting material too. So, I mean, I guess I felt like you were a lot more professional in your presentation than I was.
Yeah, but I feel like other people had fun. Like I feel like other presenters were like having fun with their stuff, and I was like, oh, like I took all the fun out of it because I was so nervous. But
Oh, well, it's a learning curve though, just like anything else. It's like I have plenty of public speaking experience, so I can fall flat on my face with something going horribly wrong and recover by just I don't know, making a joke or something. That stuff doesn't bother me.
yeah,
Um, but but yeah, I mean, it's just like writing and doing it all the time, getting into the flow state and painting and learning how to do it. It's just a little bit of practice goes a long way, and I think you're off to a great start with that was your first like big presentation. Yeah,
yeah. Thank you.
I would not have known that that was your first. Yeah,
Oh, good.
um, yeah, if you hadn't told me. Yeah, so um, yeah, so I will direct people to your Substack. I'm looking forward to it. I'm already subscribed, so I'm on board for whatever may come on there. Yeah. Um, so, are there any other thoughts on seances that you wanted to, or channeling in general that you wanted to cover
Um,
tonight? Or
just that I think everyone should try it. I just want everyone to try it, and then I want them to message me about what happens.
yeah,
I'm so used
um,
to being like a weirdo alone in a room. Like I want to know what other weirdos are doing.
yeah. Well, it's great for us weirdos to live vicariously through each other and also compare notes. Um,
Yeah.
are you going to make these seance steps available on your Substack as well?
Yeah, I'll put them up for sure.
Cool,
Uh,
cool.
yeah.
That way people can follow along. Um, I mean, I liked that it did have kind of the set and setting and setting the mood, and I like that you kind of opened it up where I guess Hilma Klint would use like the Bible or something, right? They
Mhm.
would do like a reading, but you've opened it up where it's more whatever you're comfortable with, using
Yeah.
tarot or whatever else. Yeah. Um, yeah. And so, yeah, everybody follow on Substack. What is the Substack called? It's Liminal Sister, right?
Liminal Sister, yeah. And that's my website's liminalsister.com and on mostly on Instagram, and that's at Liminal Sister.
Okay. Beautiful. Yep. So, well, thanks so much for coming on, especially at short notice. Listeners don't know this, but I had a cancellation, and I was already reaching out to you anyway to come on because I did as soon as soon as I saw you in the listing, I was like, that's going to be a podcast guest in the future. I know it. So, but you're very accommodating and coming on last minute for my cancellation spot. So this is very nice how that worked out. But and also wonderful to talk to you. Um,
Thanks. Nice to talk to you too.
yeah, thanks so much for coming on. And listeners, go check out Randy's stuff.